Now, there's some tricky things that can come up on properties, and covenants and encumbrances are some of those.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I know that's an area that agents struggle with, and it's a real specialty that the conveyancers can help with.
Yeah. Agents do need to know about these areas. They are becoming more common with new developments. And the agent needs to understand the documents and have a good working relationship with a conveyancer, because an encumbrance may stay on the title and pass with the property, or it can actually be what's called lifted and replaced. So removed from the title for the vendor and replaced with a brand new encumbrance in the purchaser's name.
Okay.
So it's a matter of checking the document and finding out what type of encumbrance it is, and including that information in the contract and the Form 1, because you need to make the purchaser aware that they have to enter into the new document if that applies, and also to deal with who pays the costs, so that there isn't a problem when it comes to settlement.
Yeah, you mentioned that development sites are quite common for those lift and replace encumbrances,
Yes.
and I know that they've been seen a lot in some of the development areas in Adelaide, and no doubt Darwin as well. What's some good examples of what's contained in those encumbrances and what that may mean for the purchaser?
So often it's what can be or can't be built on the property, and the quality of materials that are used, because the developer, in selling off their blocks on the development site, wants to keep the property of a desirable character to encourage future buyers to purchase other blocks that are on their site.
And can that extend to gardening and things like that?
It can. It can extend to keeping the garden in good condition. It can extend to not erecting a fence at the front of the property. They're common ones that we see. And like I said, most pass with the land, but some are lift and replace and have to be signed up again with the new purchaser.
And do the vendors generally know that there's lift and replace encumbrance on their land, or is that something the agent's got to do a bit of homework on?
Yeah, I think the vendor will know that there is an encumbrance, but I don't think they'd know whether it's lift and replace or not. It's quite a specialist area, and so we're happy to check the document and advise accordingly on that.
So that will be revealed in the searches?
Yes, it will actually come back on the title.
Okay.
So then it's a further document that the agent would need to order from the Land Titles Office, the encumbrance document itself.
Now, easements are very common on a lot of properties. What are some good examples, or what are regular examples you see of easements, and what can that mean?
So easements generally run with the land. An example of an easement is a right of way. So there may be a right of way granted over your property, which means your property is burdened by that right of way, and that's called a subject to easement. Or you may be granted a right of way over the neighbour's property. So you've got the benefit of an easement or a right of way over somebody else's property, and that you will see on the title as together with. So that's the different explanation between the two, and again those should be included in the documentation that's prepared.